Let me ask you a question. What is the purpose of writing a book on positive mental attitude or reading a book on positive mental attitude? One, writing a book on positive mental attitude. An author is supposed to write a book on positive mental attitude because they feel they know some insights into how to make others achieve success through the use of the principles found in their books. Two, reading a book on positive mental attitude. You read a book on positive mental attitude so that you can learn principles that you can use in your life that will enable you to become wealthy and successful. Three, how to tell if a book on positive mental attitude achieved this purpose. One, you were able to follow all the points in the book. Two, you achieved all your goals. Three, you are able to stay positive all the rest of your life. Four, you changed your life forever. Five, you never need to read another book to get more information. Six, you're happy, successful, motivated, rich. And seven, why are you reading this book? Because the PMA book you just read failed. How to tell if you're reading the book that failed? You're reading this book. Or you're watching this tape. All the books you've ever read on positive mental attitude are not working in your life, not because of something you did, not because you couldn't follow their plans, because it's impossible to follow their plans. They don't work. It's like reading a book on swimming. The test comes when you jump into the water. It does not do you any good to be inspired by amazing stories of people who can swim. Because you'll drown when you jump in the pool if you actually don't know how to swim. PMA authors seldom cause death, but unfortunately they do cause frustration, fear, failure, and despair. Readers keep reading them, hoping, praying, and dreaming, and then wondering what's wrong. And they wonder why they can't become rich and successful after reading their 100th book. You only have to read one book on obsessive mental attitude, and when you get your obsession, you'll never need to do anything else about it. You'll never need to read another book on positive mental attitude. Your obsession will control your life, and you'll achieve the goals and desires that you have made an obsession. You probably will have the time, and most certainly the desire, or you won't have a desire to waste your time reading books on PMA or something else, because you'll have a vision that you're following because you're obsessed with pursuing your vision. Let me translate that for you into the real world. You read my book on OMA. Now you are obsessed with getting a job working for John's factory, selling weed eaters. You sit down and write a plan of action that's very simple. I will get this job selling weed eaters or I'll die trying. You decide that you need to educate yourself more about weed eaters, and you spend the next 3 weeks at the library reading, taking notes, and finding out everything you can about weed eaters. You hawk your golf clubs and buy the best suits you can get to make the best appearance in the interview when you go to arrive at the interview, and you arrive early. And you sit in the lobby and you wait. You don't eat, sleep, or drink, or do anything but think and study and worry and think about weed eaters. You are obsessed with getting this job. When the interview comes, you make your best obsessive speech. You tell him if you're not hired, you'll do anything. You'll work for him for free for 3 years just to get the chance to get a weed eater job. You sell your home and get the money to live close to the plant so you can actually walk to work to prove to him that you're dedicated to wanting to work at the weed eater plant. You know what? You're hired and you make president of the company in 2 years. Now this may seem like a funny story, and you would say, no one would ever do that. Someone would do it if they were obsessed with selling weed eaters. And it would certainly get you the job, and it would certainly assure your success if you were that obsessed with getting that job, wanting that job, and doing something about it when you got the job. So the same thing can apply into your life. If you're obsessed with something so bad that you're willing to do that, if you've ever acted obsessed before you tried to get something, have you ever wanted something so bad that it just burned with you day and night, that you were willing to almost kill or die for it? Have you ever wanted something so bad that you couldn't sleep or eat, that you wanted it so bad that all you thought about it day and night, time after time, day after day, was that? Getting it. Most people have felt that way about something, the person they fell in love with. Some people feel it about God. Some people feel it about religion. Some people feel it about what they're trying to do to make a living, their obsession, and then they're always going to succeed in their obsession. God created this force in your body, this OM8, that you can use to achieve any of the goals that you make an obsession in your life. You can have anything you want and anything you want to achieve if you'll follow it with an obsessive mental attitude, and I'll show you how to do it. This is the only book I'm ever going to write on OMA. You'll never have to read another one to make it work for you. You won't have to attend lectures. You won't have to listen to speeches. You won't have to buy tapes. You won't have to watch DVDs. You only need to decide what it is you actually are obsessed about, and then pursue it with an obsessive mental attitude. as you're reading this book or listening to these tapes or watching these videos, think about the goals in your life. Think about what you really are obsessed with. Now, all of those are probably two different lists. This book will show you how you combine what you think that you want and what you actually are obsessed with. I'm obsessed. The true sign of a winner is one who continues to give their best when the experience is negative. Anybody can do a great job when there's a positive experience. There are a few things in the world that are worth having that are not requiring great effort to achieve. If you only give a great effort when you feel positive about doing it, when you feel pumped up, you're usually never going to have anything, because it's not a very pleasant experience to get a black belt. It's not a very pleasant experience to work really hard. In the martial arts, we have a saying, there are no soft bricks, meaning there are no shortcuts to achieving martial arts mastery. When you smash into a hand into a brick, either you break the brick or you break your hand. You must give it your absolute best. You must hit it as hard as you can, or you will not break the brick, you will break your hand. It's the same thing in your life. You must give your absolute best to overcome the obstacles in your life, or you'll break your life. You won't succeed. You cannot give, if you can't give your absolute best, if you can't try as hard as you can, then you're not going to succeed. You have to use an obsession. You have to be powerful. You have to believe. You must use your obsession to achieve your goals and to overcome. Well, let me explain to you the difference between an obsession and a goal. Because a lot of people, I keep talking about goals and stuff, but there are some important differences. Here's some of the obsessions that everybody has, whether you like it or not, is that you live on a daily life, is that you have to breathe, you have to eat, you have to be clean, you have to believe in something. Some obsessions are stronger, some are weaker, but they're all obsessions, and they're constantly in your mind. You're aware of them 24 hours a day, and you're pursuing them 24 hours a day, whether or not a particular mental attitude comes into play or not. You don't have to think that I want to breathe. I breathe. I'm obsessed with breathing. Go through the list and write down on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, or a creative power index, and rate how these obsessions are important to you in your real life. Think about it. Don't just and begin to realize what exactly you are obsessed with, and also rate on a loss index how much you would suffer if you didn't have this obsession, or if you didn't have what you wrote down as one of your goals. Let me give you some few examples, and you can follow along and see if you get the idea. Go through the list and write down a list of your goals. You know, the things that you think that you can achieve because you just thought about it, conceive and achieve, the PMA goals. Next, rate how important these goals are to you in your actual life, and how much pain, suffering, and sorrow you're willing to occur if you don't get these goals, or to achieve these goals. Exactly how important are these goals to you? Are they important enough to be put into the obsessive group? So you got the obsessive power rating and the lost power rating. So you're going to make a little chart over here: the obsessive power rating, a lost power rating. You're going to write down what you think is important. You know, is my goal of making $1 million an obsession, or is it just a goal? You know, is having a nice car an obsession or a goal? Is eating a goal? Do you want caviar? Do you want furs? Do you want a great education? Do you want to live in a mansion? Do you want fame and fortune? Do you want to be on a television show? Do you want to make $1 million? Do you want to live to be 100 years old? You know, write down all the things that you think that you want, and then you're going to find out pretty quickly those are just little things I wrote on a piece of paper. Those are not things that I'm willing to give my life to achieve. Those are not things that I'm willing to devote whatever time is necessary, whatever is required to making it happen. How important is driving a Mercedes to you? How important is having your hair? How important is having good teeth? How important is your job to you? You know, how important are your children to you? Some of these are pretty obvious. Those are obsessions in your life. My children are vitally important to me. I would give nothing to hurt them in any way. You have to remember that the goals are not obsessions. Just because you wrote them down, don't forget that PMA stuff. It's not going to make it something that you're going to work hard enough to achieve. You will never possess something that you didn't make an obsession in your mind. You have to make it as important to you as your very life itself. You are obsessed with it. And you have to tell people that you're obsessed with it. The secret to actually getting your goals to become obsession is to make them an obsession in your mind. You can't just make them a PMA dream. So let's talk about how do you develop a new obsession. You know, we've all learned that it's possible to develop a new obsession, but how do you do it exactly? Refer to my chapter I've written on Everyone Wants to Be Rich. but no one really wants to work hard to do it. Or I like to call it the get-rich-quick schemes, the midnight millionaires. If you're reading this book to learn the mental secret of success that will enable you to pursue your vision of being rich, you must be able to understand that your vision of being rich is just a dream unless that is an obsession in your life that you're going to be rich no matter what. Then it's more than just a goal to be rich. When it's an obsession, you'll do anything that comes to your mind or comes to possibility to enable you to achieve your desire to become rich. The actual physical activities that are required to achieve your goal of being rich will never occur because you're only trying to pursue them with a positive mental attitude. You have to define how much money you want, how hard you're willing to work, and what you're willing to do for it with an obsessive mental attitude, not with just, every day and every way I'm going to get richer. It doesn't work. You also have to have a job that can make you rich. I don't care how fast you dig that ditch, you're only making $6 an hour. So you want to be rich. Here are your guaranteed steps to be rich. It's just not good enough to say you're going to be rich. Let's say you want $10 million. Put it down on a piece of paper. Write down $10 million. Every day say your affirmations. I'm going to make $10 million. I'm going to make $10 million. I'm going to make $10 million. And you must use daily visualization. Put a picture on the wall of $10 million. Make a boat. Put a picture of the boat on the wall. Every day look at it and pray to it and go, oh, I'm going to make $10 million. I'm going to buy the boat. Stay positive. Keep thinking it. Don't let any negative thoughts. Don't let anybody deter you. Rah, 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 great! Except 99% of the people that read that and do that don't get rich. Why is that? Because they weren't pursuing their dream of getting to be rich with an obsessive mental attitude, because it's not an obsession with them. It's just a little goal they wrote down, like the goal to be handsome. You just can't do it by writing it down and hoping it'll happen. You have to actually work for it, and you're not going to work to become super rich and famous if it's not an obsession. I got to get you to understand that. 99% of the people who think they want $10 million will be completely happy with $100,000. You know, when they write down $10 million, what they really mean is, well, I'd like to just move to a 2-bedroom apartment. When they write down, I want to drive a Cadillac and live in a big, have a Porsche and all that, they'd be really happy with a new SUV. That's not an obsession with them. It's just a little goal. It'd be nice. We'd all love to win the lottery, but when they got that much money, they don't even know what to do with it. They don't have a plan. If you're actually going to make $10 million an obsession in your life, then you're going to have to do the things that are involved in making that $10 million come true. You're going to have a job that can make you $10 million. You can't have a garbage man that has an obsession to make $10 million by riding on the back of a garbage truck. And we need those guys. I'm not talking bad about them, but I'm just telling you, they can go to a lecture and hear somebody say you can make $10 million when you're riding on the back of a garbage truck by thinking positive. No, you can't. You can make $9 an hour. There are only a few ways you can make $10 million, and riding on a garbage truck is not one of them. Teaching in school is not one of them. You have to develop an obsession to make $10 million, which means you're going to have to develop an education and a plan of action that your obsession is leading you to that will actually make you the $10 million. The secret of success is to pursue an activity in such a way with an obsessive mental attitude that you're going to be able to achieve what you are trying to get. In other words, I didn't say that you have to do an obsessive mental attitude by you have to write down hundreds and dozens of things that you might want and just figure out which one is going to. You have to develop an obsession for it, and then you're going to make a plan of action to achieve that obsession to make it a reality. Remember, if your reality is to be rich, you've got to have a job that's going to make you that much money. You know, let's equate to something that you can understand. You know, when I was a single man, I was obsessed with, dating a lot of different girls. When I saw one in a club or in a restaurant or something that I was attracted to, I immediately became obsessed. Why, I want that girl. I just got to move in. I became, for the next hours, I was just obsessed with getting that girl and talking to her and meeting her and thinking about nothing else about her. And I had planned on things that would make me successful with that girl. I dressed nice, I smelled nice, I looked nice, I had a nice car, I had a lot of money, I was able to take her out, I was able to wine and dine her. I had a vision of getting beautiful women in my life, but I also had a plan of action on how to do it, and my obsession brought me to that ultimate goal of getting the beautiful women. You can't just say, well, I want to date Christine Applegate, and you're broke, ugly, and a school teacher. She probably would date a school teacher, but she don't know you. So you can't take her out. You can't even buy her the kind of dinners that she used to. You have to make your obsessions part of your possessions by working the little steps in between that will allow you to achieve those obsessions. If your obsession is to have a long, happy life, then you have to exercise daily. You have to watch what you eat. You have to, do what you want. People can get obsessions with women and stuff and ruin their lives. Look at Bill Clinton. This is the President of the United States that saw Monica's butt and almost lost his presidency and his career and everything over a sexual obsession. You know, and Jimmy Swaggart did the same thing, and Jim Baker did the same thing and stuff. So they just didn't think about it. That was a monetary obsession with that having sexual gratification, but that was not a lifetime obsession. His lifetime obsession was to be a president of the United States and do a good job at it. And he almost blew it by allowing that obsession to control him for just a few minutes. You know, you have to solve the... let me go back to my martial arts things. I've been in a lot of fights in my life, and I've never lost control of my mind in the fights, or my body in the fights. The people that I've been fighting or that I've been having altercations with or in the matches with and stuff, they tend to lose control of their mind because they lose control of their breath, and they lose control of their body because they lost control of their mind and their breath, and so I could beat them up pretty easily. Now, why was that? Because I was obsessed with the martial arts. I've been doing it for 46 years. I'm 62 years old. I'm obsessed with being a great martial artist, and I'm obsessed with why. One of the reasons I'm doing it for 62 years is I never lost fights. I never got my face beat up. I never got beat up. Because I was obsessed with doing all the things that were necessary to achieve my goal of being a great martial artist without getting hurt. I stretched the most. I lifted weights the most. I exercised the hardest. I practiced the best techniques. I did things that would allow me to become a great martial artist without losing my body, my health, or my face. I used my obsession with being a great martial artist, but I did all the things that my obsession allowed me to do it to become a great martial artist. And I overcame dozens, hundreds of painful experiences. Almost every single day I had bruises, cuts, broken bones, everything. It didn't bother me a bit. I trained with broken legs, broken fingers, broken ribs, broken nose, broken knocked out teeth, broken hands, hurt knees. Nothing. It just means nothing to me. I just worked out a different way. I trained even harder because I was hurt. I trained when I was sick. I've done demonstrations where I let people punch me in the stomach as hard as I could when I had diarrhea. I was obsessed with being a great martial artist, and nothing was going to prevent me from becoming a great martial artist. And the same thing equates to I wanted to be a famous author. I've written 42 books. I'm obsessed with writing books. I write them because I think they're going to help people. I've done videos now. I've done 32 videos. I'm obsessed with helping people to achieve their goals in life and to help people achieve their physical goals in life and their martial arts goals in life. And that's my obsession. I'm not obsessed with being a billionaire. And you know, what I'm doing is not going to make me $1 billion. But I realize that. I realize that my obsession is to help people, to train people. My obsession is not to make $1 billion. If I was trying to make $1 billion, I'd have to come up with a scheme that I could get tons and tons of people to buy stuff from me that they're not going to get any benefit from. Not that people that write books and do videos are giving you stuff that's not being a great benefit, but there are people that would sell you stuff that's not going to work. I mean, let's get back to the PMA. These guys keep giving Zig Ziglar and them keep telling you, man, yes, I'll meet you at the top, meet you at the top. He never met nobody at the top. If he did, he pushed them off so that he could be the only one at the top. No one wants competition. So I hope you're getting the point now how you can use obsessions to become more and more prosperous in your life and to achieve your goals.